my name is Barbara Gutierrez. I am Geek Nation's hostess. It's such a pleasure to have you here with us. So basically, you are marketing and esports manager of Project Cars 3. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, good to have you here. I bet that the Brazilian fans are super excited to have this content.
Cool.
It has been a few years since the last Project Cars. So, what exactly can fans expect of this upcoming game?
We've been working directly on this game for about 2 of those years. So there's been lots of new additions in content and features and stuff. So everything from new cars and tracks, including brands we've never had in the game before. Completely revamped all the gamepad controls, which we're super proud of. Probably, we think it's, and certainly some of the press who've been talking about the game over the last few weeks, it seems to be going down really well. And we're pretty confident that they're some of the best gamepad controls that have ever been in a simulation style racing game before, which is cool. But we've also been working on improving controls for force feedback steering wheel users as well. We've revamped the career mode. We've added car and driver customization for the first time, and we've also completely reworked all the online modes as well. So yeah, it's been a super big project for us, and it's definitely the biggest game in the franchise so far.
You said about the career mode. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
We've always had career modes in the past, but what we've wanted to do this time is allow people to kind of put more of their personality into it and make it more rewarding and more open as well. So while you can still kind of focus on a particular career path or a particular motorsport discipline if that's what you want to do, but the actual overall career mode is more of a greatest hits of all the content in the game this time. So making sure that you see all the best of the cars and the tracks and the modes that are in there, but allowing you to forge your own path through that. So if early on you find there's a particular car you really like or a particular style of racing that you really like, you can focus on that if you want to, but you're not punished for doing so. So because of this new metagame layer we've got, it rewards you with experience points and credits and that kind of thing as well. You're getting similar rewards at each level of the career mode, regardless of which path you choose through it. So if you choose to focus on touring cars or GT racing or open wheel cars, you're still going to get the same sort of rewards that you'd get if you focused on other disciplines, and then you're using those to unlock new cars, to unlock new sort of levels in the car showroom as well. So you can see all the cars in the game from the beginning, but to actually reach those tiers and unlock the next group to be able to add them to your garage, there's some sort of gates there that you have to go through as well. So yeah, it's more just about expanding that freedom of choice and allowing you to put your own personality into it, and that goes into the car customization and being able to customize your driver as well.
Well, since you've mentioned the customization system, can you explain a little more about this?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it's something that we haven't really done in the past, and it's really new for us. So what we've done is it's kind of the two sides to it. One side is the actual performance upgrades to the cars. So every car has a number called a performance index rating, which is kind of its way of being ranked amongst all the cars in the game. And then you can apply upgrades to almost every bit of the cars. So things like everything from just putting nicer wheels and tires on to upgrading suspension or engine performance or anything you can imagine upgrading on a car. And that obviously then increases the performance rating of the car as well. And you can then take the cars from lower classes between and upgrade them so that they cross over into higher classes. And you can take a car that you like really early on in the game, and you don't have to abandon it to unlock a completely new car when you go up a tier if you would rather upgrade that car and kind of take it on the journey with you. That's one side of the customization. And then the other side is visual stuff. So everything from paint materials, paint colors, paint patterns, stickers, wheel rims, even the sort of appearance of the sidewall of the tires and license plates on the road cars as well. So, and all that stuff that you upgrade and customize in career mode carries over into the online modes as well. So any experience you're gaining overlaps between the two modes, and then you can take customized cars between online and single player as well. So yeah, we really wanted to give people a chance to put their own personality into motorsport this time around.
For you, what was like the best improvement of the game, or maybe addition?
One of the big things is that in Project Cars 2, we had we call it the competitive racing license, and it was essentially a system that was on every player's profile where it was ranking their ability in terms of how successful they were in online racing, but also how fairly they raced as well. And we had that system there, and it was a great way of looking at somebody's profile and seeing what sort of driver they were. But beyond that, we didn't do a huge amount with it. So in the new game, we've actually gone with sort of skill-based matchmaking properly across all the online game modes, and that's taking a similar ranking system into account in terms of how you drive, your overall skill level as a driver, and also how fairly you drive, and your sort of level of what we call racecraft, so how you behave with other drivers on track and that kind of thing. So that's going to mean that across all the different multiplayer modes, and we've got a bunch of new modes there as well, that the general sort of level of competition between players in terms of you'll be being matched against players that are closer to your skill level, but also closer to your driving style as well. So the overall fairness level of online racing is going to get better too, which is cool. And then one of the modes within that we have is this thing called scheduled races. So as well as just being able to jump into a quick race or set up a private match and play with friends, we have this scheduled system where we have a big list of races in the multiplayer mode that we set up as a studio, as a developer, and they all start at specific times, and they might use, from day to day or from week to week, they'll be changing in terms of the cars and tracks that we're putting into those scheduled races. But yeah, you choose a race that starts at the time that suits you, and then you go into a qualifying session. You're running as many qualifying laps as you like until the race is ready to start, and then when that timer counts down, you get matched with all the other people that registered for the same race, and you go onto the grid based on guys who are around your skill level. So that's going to give people a kind of a regular daily race to come back to. That's kind of that impetus to keep going and keep improving your ranking, and then you'll be having better and better races every time you drive.
Oh my gosh. So basically, I am a really huge fan of esports, So what you're saying to me is that through the whole development of the game, you guys considered the community itself. That's amazing.
Yeah, and we've been running official esports tournaments ourselves and with partners since the first Project Cars, so all the way back since I think 2016 was our first year doing that. So sort of fourth or fifth year now doing that. And yeah, we having had things like this license system before that, it let and it let the community know what your skill level was on your profile, but we really wanted to do more with it. And we've been really proud over the years as well of the game's kind of ability with our previous titles to kind of find the next generation of sim racing talent. And just last week, I went to a race in the UK that was won by a real world race that was won by a kid who had his first racing successes playing Project Cars 2 online. And that was kind of how he was discovered as a racing driver. And then he had his first real world race literally last week, and I went to see how he does, and then he won the thing. So that was super cool to see. So yeah, anything we can do to continue to find that next generation, what give people more ways to race at the grassroots level as well as that sort of top tier level is really cool for us.
Well, since we're talking about the community fans, we know that sometimes those fans can be picky with several aspects from the game. I mean, the physics model, the hyper-realism, movement, etc. So how do you guys are approaching these aspects for the new game?
We still, we maintain a kind of a focus on authenticity, and we're all motorsport fans here, and I think that really comes across in the games we make and also in the relationships that we have with the car companies that we work with. So the basis of our game has always been the fundamental depth of our physics engine and our driving mechanics, and a lot of the cars, especially the modern cars that are obviously developed in the real world with computer design and lots of data from testing and things, we get access to a lot of that information for building the same cars in the game. And so the underpinnings of Project Cars 3 are the underpinnings that the franchise has always had. It's rooted in the world of simulation. But one of the things we really wanted to do with this game was put some new emphasis on teaching new people about the joys of motorsport and also helping them to become better drivers. It's one thing to make a really in-depth simulation like we've always done, but this time we want to make it a little bit friendlier and a little bit more inclusive and introduce new people to the hobby and to give them the tools to learn about it more as well, which is super important for us. So there's loads of content, lots of modes for hardcore fans to enjoy, and as I said earlier, improving the support for steering wheel users and things as well. So there's plenty for the hardcore to enjoy, but then all the improvements we've done to to gamepad and to how the driving assists work and things like that. We think it's going to really help people who are maybe coming to sim racing for the first time from whether they're coming from other types of racing games and they sort of have an understanding of the fundamentals of racing, but they want to play something that's got more of a simulation edge, or whether they're completely new to racing and this might be where they're making their start. It's definitely a more inclusive game than what we've made before as well.
And last but not least, Joey, would you like to give the Brazilian fans a message? Because we have a really, really passionate virtual racing community, so would you like to tell them something else?
It's been so amazing over the years to see the way the Brazilian community has reacted to the games. And one of the big things for us between Project Cars 2 and 3 was to finally make sure that we had some Brazilian content in the game properly as well. So we've been pushing for a long time to finally get Interlagos into the game, and we really wanted to make sure that went into the announcement trailer and some of the early content that we put out. That's been really cool to see the reaction from not even just from Brazil, but from the whole of South America. That's been really cool to see that people have been super excited about that. And from my own personal side, last year I was lucky enough to meet Igor Fraga a couple of times, who is a young Brazilian Formula 3 driver who's been coming up through the ranks in sim racing, and he did some Project Cars 2 tournaments and some other things as well. So to see it having a direct impact, not just on gamers in Brazil, but also on some up and coming young motorsport drivers as well, has been really exciting to see. So yeah, now that we've got Interlagos in there, and all these Brazilian kids who should know the track off by heart already and will be coming through some tournaments with a track they already know, it's going to be exciting to see some more talent coming through from Brazil for sure.
So that's it, everyone. Joe Barron, it is marketing and esports manager of Project Cars 3. Thank you so much for being here with us. And I can assure you the Brazilian fans are going crazy with this content. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, thanks for inviting me.